Okay, without further ado, it's 1 minute past 9. Let's bring onto the screen the man in the Minho. Shalom, Antonio. Good morning to you.
Bon
How are
dia.
you?
Hello. Bon dia. Hi,
Right.
Mrs. M and Mr. M, Carlito. Hello, everyone. You guys make me laugh already early in the morning. I love that.
We're so glad. That's what it's all about, isn't it? And we're off. You and me are often giggling, Antonio, when we have a chat. Mrs. M might say, "Who are you talking to on WhatsApp?" Oh, it's just me and Antonio just having a bit of a chat on WhatsApp. How are you this morning? And how's All Saints Day in your part of the country? What happens up there?
You know, I think, Carl, now that I think about it, today's really our day. You and all, because we're all saints. It's All Saints Day. So we're saints. as sometimes, you know, from this may be like, we're Mrs. M sometimes, and the conversations that I've listened to and everything. We got to be saints, right? As men. And so definitely it's our day. But here,
Awesome.
it's, can you here is characterized by
Yeah,
people going.
there is a slight, there is a bit of a delay, and we will get used to that. It's like just talking on the phone to your relatives in Australia or whatever back in the day. There's a slight delay that we have to manage here.
Got it.
Just realized.
And what's
Sorry, I've just.
That's the delay I'm talking about, where both people start talking at the same time. So,
I'll shut up.
Antonio, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say today is characterized by people going to visit their loved ones at cemeteries, and also here in the north there is a big market, a fair that for All Saints Day. It's like 2-3 day celebration. So, and it's a nice sunny day. So hopefully a lot of people be coming in.
Wow, and that part of the country, of course, if in case people didn't read the sleeve notes this morning, you are our man in the Minho. You're talking about real estate, real life. This is the first of your appearances here. You have a monthly residency now, because it's going to be so much fun talking to you from that particular perspective of the north of Portugal and your experience in real estate, and of course your great love of Portugal. Where exactly are you, and could you give us just a little taster of why it's so cool to be up there in that part of Portugal, Antonio?
Sure. I have roots here, okay, Carl, and anyone listening. And I could be anywhere in Portugal living. That is the truth. But not only because of my roots, but because, Carl, it really is one of Portugal's best kept secrets. When you talk about the food, the people, the wine, but also, I have all the best of all the worlds, the ocean side, the countryside, the riverside, the mountainside. I'm close to Spain. I could just walk over the bridge. That's how close I am. I have 2 bridges I can walk over into Spain. So what more do you want out of life? You can.
I love that. That sounds so exciting. Like having 2 cultures just side by side. How do they blend?
Yeah,
do they overlap and blend much?
It's a great micro economy. Okay, it's really important, especially for the regions of Valença, Vila Nova de Cerveira, Monção, because the Portuguese really, they welcome the Spanish. And it's curious. The Spanish will come to Portugal. The Portuguese will go to Spain. They'll go to Bayona or Vigo and other parts in between. But it's a nice mix. It's a micro economy. And so it's a lot of, and the language pretty much the same. The Spanish will never speak Portuguese. The Portuguese will try to speak Spanish. That I could tell you. But the Spanish, no.
You have heard about this.
Yeah. And then I'm guessing you have like lots of people buying some of their things in Portugal and some of their things in Spain, right? Like petrol in Spain, or
gas
booze
bottles,
in Portugal,
cigarettes,
or whatever.
Yeah. So how is it
does that work?
Yeah. What is you? I think you described it as an, didn't you? What could you tell us a little bit more about that economy and how that works and what the benefits are, I suppose?
Oh, I don't know who's right. Some would argue that the things are cheaper. Things are cheaper here. The Spanish say they come here because of the food. Okay, definitely. I would probably agree with them on certain level. So definitely things are cheaper here when you basic things, But the Portuguese go there for definitely, without a doubt. In Tui, which is the neighbor village, city rather, in Valencia, definitely the petrol, the gasoline, the diesel. It's like they have like a 20% discount, right, on the fuel and stuff. And it's, for one, it's already cheaper, but then you even get a 20% discount on the pump. And just, like, for example, they make these baguettes, okay, these rustic breads that, and there's certain things that you can't go without, and they have, the Spanish, I think, have it in a way locked down where they enjoy, they have that afternoon time, the siesta, right? I think it's cultural, the siesta, or like after work, they'll have that little get together and have the beer, like, they'll go to a pub or something, hang out or have a coffee, etc. Where the Portuguese, after they're done with work, let me get home, like, let me, I have to make dinner or whatever. So they have that much of the culture. And I think for me, that's what I love going there. And even the Portuguese people getting with that culture as well. And the Spanish love coming here, not only to the markets, because, for example, like on Wednesdays, there is a local market here in Valencia. On Thursdays, it's in Monção, Barcelos as well. Mondays is in Ponte de Lima. Vila Nova de Cerveira is a fantastic one, is on Saturdays. And it's an open, the open markets, right? And it's actually a luxury market. So you get the whole villages are full, never mind, but during the whole year, basically. So you'll see the restaurants, the coffee shops. And I love that. It's people, love seeing people. Yeah. And they definitely help the economy, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think we felt it last year's when we had the pandemic here, and the borders were officially closed, right? Unless you were coming for work, no pleasure. Even our clients that had holiday homes, they couldn't come and stay. So we definitely, all the local merchants and shop owners, restaurant, local business. So I'm saying it's a local micro economy. And it's very important that we have that in the relationship. It's very extremely.
Love it. Loving the vignette you're creating for us there.
Yeah, and I kind of want to live there. It just sounds so dynamic. I mean, I do love the idea that I mean, this is like with the Halloween and All Saints theme, that you're like the world, has feels between different realities. And it's like, what you're describing there is like two different realities that overlap and mingle. And I love that,
and remain distinct. That's what I think is the amazing thing. The neighbors, this forever, doesn't it? The neighbors of Spain and Portugal, and the wonderful things you can say about that. And one of the lovely things I think about it is that there is this how they remain distinct. They're not sort of diluting each other, are they? It's not a hybrid of all the best bits. Which you think that human evolution and development of society might bring just all the best bits, which I suppose is what's happening. But they're not losing their distinct characteristics either. They're rubbing alongside each other with the best bits without sort of consuming each other, if you like. Mrs. M, why are you giggling? Is just much rubbing alongside each other?
No, you know what? I was just thinking. I was thinking of my own personal experiences, and even the Spanish or anyone that comes to Portugal. Okay,
that made me chocolate more.
Sorry, carry on, Antonio. She's having a giggly moment.
And you know what I always say to people, even the Spanish or anyone, whether you're British, American, doesn't matter, Brazilian. This is from my personal experience. Portugal is not going to change. Okay, you are not going to change Portugal. Okay, but Portugal may change you, and that's the difference. Whereas it can make you more calmer, more loving. Portugal will definitely change you, but you're not going to change Portugal. We have our own identity and culture, something I've been learning the last 20 plus years. And the truth of the matter is, even the Spanish, when they come, they don't speak a word of Portuguese. They're not even going to try. We're the Portuguese people. When we go anywhere in the world, even if we go to France, we're going to try to speak a little bit, a little bit of French or English or Italian. We're going to try to emulate the language or try to speak it. That's how Portuguese people are. They're welcoming. So when we go to another country, we feel like, okay, let's try to blend in and fit in. Whereas most people, when they come to Portugal, no, I'm just going to speak English or Spanish or whatever. That's fine. But sooner or later, you're going to have to change because Portugal will change you. And that's what it is. And I think people, as they come here, that's what they really love, is that we have our own culture and identity.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think people will be
Beautiful.
excited by that proposition, by that observation. That is so brilliant. And I think maybe it is how the two countries look at each other. Because again, it's like man in the mirror. These are like the people in the mirror, aren't they? You look across the border and you see your reflection. You see another human being, but with a different set of characteristics. And you think, you know, they don't try and speak our language. And that makes you even prouder to be somebody probably who would try and speak Spanish when you went to Spain. And maybe the Spanish are thinking, no, we never do that. We're Spanish and we're going to go abroad and we're going to speak Spanish. And that's it. And it entrenches, doesn't it, those national characteristics, even though people are right next to each other and could change. It kind of does the opposite. They entrench their positions on things. And I'm loving that Portuguese position of like, no, you can't change Portugal, but Portugal will change you. That should really be adopted by the Portuguese Tourist Board, I think. And I think people are having a little quiver of excitement as they are here in Portugal, that they will change by the culture that they love, and there's little chance of them changing it. That's a fantastic debut, a fantastic start, Antonio, our man in the Minho this morning. It's Tony time, everybody. If you've got any questions for Tony this morning about food, about wine, he knows a lot about Portuguese food and wine, of course, but more importantly, about more generally the culture. And somebody who's lived in America, right? You have this great sense of life and contrast of an American life as well as a Portuguese. Could you tell us a little about that, Antonio? Well, which part of America do you know well?
Well, I know 44 of the 50 states, including Puerto Rico and I know quite a bit. I grew up in the East Coast in New Jersey.
Okay.
Go ahead, Miss. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a few, because like you've had the pleasure of his company.
I have had the pleasure of his company.
When you two went out for a meal, was it 2 months ago, 3 months ago?
Yeah.
He came back like this giggly little boy, like
the waitresses said that as well at the restaurant, I think. Get a room.
I have that effect. I have that effect on people. I have that effect on people.
He had such a lovely time. It's such a lovely photo of you two together. I loved how he came back. So you should go out and hang out a lot more often. But no, what I wanted to find out is like, why did you come over in the first place 20 years ago?
Oh,
and
good question.
you know, what was it about your life back then that made you think, yeah, I'm ready for a change? Sorry, I want to kind of dive
deep. She's digging deep.
There's that photo. If you look lovely together.
I'm getting the photo of our meal, Tony, while you answer that.
No, but I love that. I love that, Mrs. M. And Carl, I think we talked about this, but the truth is that when people ask me that, I love sharing because it's my own personal story. You can't make it up. It's mine. Yeah. So it really is. I used to come as a little boy. Okay, you had no choice. Your mom and dad would bring you to Portugal, right? My sister as well. You had no choice, so you had to come. School is over there in the U.S.
Was it to visit grandma?
Yeah, and also to the family. It was during the summers, every single summer. We would have to come to Portugal. There was one winter, I think it was, that we came. It was a bad winter, but I remember. Oh, long stories. There's so many stories, like I said, but we would have to come. It was mandatory. They're not gonna leave you back in the U.S. So school finishes, and I would come here with them. Later on in life, then it was me that brought my little niece here as well to visit grandparents, right? And so what happened was, when you were a little kid, and here's the funny thing, that at the time I really didn't like it, because you want to stay in the summer, go play with your friends in the street, here, like this is like, no, I don't like Portugal, you didn't like it. But little did I know, I would develop a second set of friends and family during the holidays, because a lot of other immigrants that lived in France, Switzerland, Germany, UK, even in the US, from other parts that didn't live around us, they would come to Portugal too. So we were all in that same position. We didn't want to be there, all of us. Yeah. So we were kind of together there. And then, it went by. It went by as you started to go and stuff, it went by well. And then as the years, when I turned 18 years old, I said, I can get my own passport. Here I am going to start stamping it. And I never looked back since then, pretty much. So there was a time I didn't come to Portugal from when I was 18 to about 24 years old. Okay, 6 years. So I didn't come here. My parents were still living in the US at the time. But I just, like I said, I'm going to discover the rest of the world. I've seen Portugal. I've seen it at the eyes of a kid. And so I didn't come here. When I did come in 94, okay, because I took off. It was actually, I was going through a midlife crisis because I already have a second life. This is my second life. So at that time when I was 20, I was 24, right? So midlife, I'm 52 now. So even at that time, I started to, before I really, I was finishing university. I was, in the middle of changing jobs. I was in a good financial situation. So what did I do? I came to Europe, to Portugal, and I traveled by backpack. You do the Eurail trip. It was like 2 months just traveling within Europe. I was there in Portugal.
Yes.
I was able to be here for it just happened. My grandmother, Rosa Cuca, she, I was able to be with her like a day. I left it was like the following day or 2 days later. I left. I went to, that's where I started actually in Paris from France. And I was able to be with her because then I got the message, hey, your grandmother passed away. And then, the family came and stuff. But so I was able to be with her, like even throughout her last days. I was here in Portugal for a bit. So that was kind of, that was my starting point of like, Portugal in Europe, not only Portugal, but Europe. And so I always left a little bit in my mind. The next year, I didn't come back. I came back in 96. At the time, listen, and that's when I came back in 96. My parents had retired. So I came during the summer. And guess what, guys? I had a couple of earrings, piercings, tattoos. My mom was like, my son's crazy. He's gone crazy. Again, midlife crisis, right? You do all these things. At the time, then I got a job. I was working I moved to Texas. I was living in Houston at that moment. And it was just so funny because then I came back and you're still living, you're 26 years old. You don't know life at that point. You're making decent money. You have friends, etc. But you're living a life that's really, you're happy. Okay. You are happy, but inside you're happy externally. Inside, you're always looking for something, chasing something. And that's why my hand was always raised when an opportunity surged to go to live in Naperville, Illinois. That's right outside of Chicago. An opportunity surged to go to San Francisco, my hand to Florida, Oklahoma City. And then my hand was always raised, right? Because I'm single, never been married, no children, never fathered children. So I was always that free spirited kind of guy. So that's why my hand was always raised in the opportunities. And the truth of the matter is, like, okay, at that point when I came in 96 to visit my parents, they already had officially retired, right? So here I come, and I started to see, hey, you know what, this has changed a little bit. Things are a little bit better. I could see Europe. I was only here 2 years ago and things have changed, but they definitely changed since I was a kid, right? When the turning point for me, of really realizing that I could do this here. Portugal is definitely in the right direction. Was in 98. I came here twice that year. I came in the summer and I came in the winter just to feel it out, to see how things. It was because of the expo, in Lisbon. They had the beautiful
learning point for the country. Yes.
They had these easy access from Lisbon to my house. I can get there in like 4.5 hours, 4 hours. Wow, getting around. Then infrastructures, and you start to look around and you see like, okay, Europe has got something here, you know what I mean? And at the same time, you're okay. You're making decent money, great money actually in the US, and, and you have things and investments, and you could say then, and in after 98, it really made the click. And I always left, I got used to taking a nap. Okay. And, siesta. So even when I was working there, I try to there is no like lunch hour. You eat you grab a coffee or a sandwich or something. It's always a rat race. Right. And so I would just purposely just go to my car and just lay down for 20 minutes and take a nap. I got used to that here. And it really is a different culture, lifestyle. It really is. Things are a little more slow paced. There's time for everything. We're in the U.S. and either hey, if you sleep, somebody else is going to take your spot. It really is, and
Yeah.
that's I was in the corporate world and operations and management, and and I was tired of just like I want to take a break. But when I made the move was when I was here in 2001. Okay, it was I spent maybe 3 months again. My niece that year didn't come with me. My sister brought my niece, but mind you, every single year then afterwards, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, my niece would come with me every single year. That year alone, exceptionally, I came by myself because I wanted to spend. I spent about a month and a half in Greece. I spent in France with some cousins, some friends, family, and also Portugal. Then I went back with my niece. Guess what, guys? September 11th happened. I said, "What the f?"
Yeah.
I was in a beautiful
Mm.
country. I was in a beautiful country that part of the world that none of this stuff happens. And I just said, you
Yeah.
know what? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break. After really and just be spent. I wanted to spend Christmas. I wanted to spend New Year's. I wanted to spend my Mother's Day. I wanted to spend my mother's birthday, Mother's Day, Easter. And I took out a ticket from December 7th. I spent my birthday there, December 5th. Flew out the next day on the 6th. From December 7th until June 7th. That was my ticket. Guess what, guys? I've been back and forth to the US back various times, but you know what? My home has been here since then because you know what? Like, okay, I'm just
Yeah.
done. I'm done with the US. Safety is important to me. Being around my family, the ones that I love, etc. That's what's important for me. And I said, I'm going to take a 6-month break. 20 years have gone by, and then real estate fell, and like there's
Yeah.
never been happier. You don't have to chase anything anymore. Things come to you. That's the difference. That's
Mm.
what I was saying.
Yes.
And I started out that Portugal's you're not going to change Portugal. I thought I come here like, hey, Yankee, like when I moved to Texas, hey, Yankee, settle down, relax. I thought but then there is a winning
Oh yeah.
edge here too when you have that mentality. And we talked about this, Carl. The
Yeah.
Portuguese think they have a lot of time
Yes.
for everything, and they lack on a lot of customer service, follow up, etc. And those are the things that made me successful. Okay, because there's follow up,
Yeah.
follow through, getting things done. Our
Mhm.
company's even it's named Infinite Solutions because it's solutions. Don't give there's only death and taxes. Otherwise, I could probably will find a solution. We have to think outside of the box, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
And Portugal gave me that opportunity, the happiness that probably most people feel and transmit. Yeah, we have the sunny weather, we have the great beaches, we have great food, wine, but it has to do with the people and really your home and your
Mhm.
community, around you. And that's what it's about. And it was difficult. Yes, I can
Fantastic.
understand my reasons, and I'll finish off here. But my reasons is because I moved around a lot there. Okay, that's true. Wasn't grounded, but I got to see how the U.S. from east to west to north to south, in between, and it's totally different. There's like is it United States? It's supposed to be united, but sometimes. Some of the proudest moments, but I don't know. We're in Portugal. You can be in the north or you could be in the south, and it's still you sense that you feel the people, the
Yes.
community, right? And that's the difference. It's
Yes.
Yeah.
united, at least in Portugal.
Mhm.
It's true. The word isn't used, is it? It's kind of implicit the way it works here. We're in Castelo Branco. It's very different to the Silver Coast, but there's still the DNA is present and enjoyed, and people are expressing it slightly differently. There's a different characteristic here in Castelo Branco, and there's still that ubiquitous,
Mm.
wonderful thing about Portuguese people, which
Yeah.
we know and love more every day. It seems. And you're absolutely right. That's a great observation. One of many, it seems, this morning. People are loving that, Tony. You may not change
Yeah.
Portugal, but Portugal
It will
may
change
change
you.
you. We'll come to that because I'd like to, if I may, just go through a few of the comments here. That I think it's being appreciated that you're a New Jersey boy as well.
Definitely.
And Yogi Berra quote of the day. You've come across a lot of these American references, then, Tony. I'm not going to buy my kids an encyclopedia. I'll let them walk to school. Tony did. Yogi Berra.
That's perfect.
Okay, and we missed a dad joke yesterday, and it was Halloween flavored. I meant this for yesterday. What is a wolf after meditating? Why? Let's see how Tony reacts to this. That would be a werewolf Okay, no. All right. Interesting.
Very good. Very good.
Well, Yogi Berra is often credited with saying, no matter where you go, there you are. No one has actually been able to determine who was actually the first to say it, but he definitely did say it. And thank you for that, James. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz dia de todos os santos. Thank you, T-Duck, for that. See, we are going back a long way here. This comment was made at 12 minutes past 8. We've got a little bit of catching up to do with the bulging sack of correspondence. Pray as though everyone depended on God. Deep thought from T-Duck. Work as though everything depended on you. Saint Augustine. And let's find out on the All Saints Day a little bit more about Augustine of Hippo, who sounds like he worked in a safari park, but no, perhaps not. Also known as Saint Augustine, a theologian and a philosopher of Berber origin and bishop of, here we go, Hippo Regius in Numidia, Roman North Africa. Anyone been there?
No.
Portuguese saying of the day then, amor, fogo e tosh, a seu dono descubra. Love, fire, and cough, its owner finds out. Tony, help us.
What
with
does
this.
that mean?
Yes, it's hard to find fire, love, and a cough, or hard to hide one.
Love, fire, and cough. how appropriate, right?
Yes. You need to stuck on a doctor, I think. Dr. Bayard for that man immediately.
I'm stuck on the cough. Amor, fogo e tosse. O seu dono descobre. Your owner. You'll figure it out. Love, fire, and cough. Oh yeah, it's translated. It's it's all things looking at you, like the man in the mirror. I guess that's how we'd say it. And look.
Everything comes out in the end. Yes, indeed. Yes, the cough always works its way out. The expectorant. Yeah. All right. Who knew then as well, today in Portugal, Dia de Todos os Santos is a national holiday. In the morning, families head to flower shops to buy seasonal flowers before going to the family cemetery. As Tony said there, Portuguese children, as we've also touched upon earlier, celebrate the Pão por Deus, bread for God tradition, going door to door where they receive cakes, nuts, pomegranates, sweets, and candies. And of course, it is nut and pomegranate time of year, very seasonal as well, which is fantastic. Let me star up those dad jokes because we'll put Tony through that before the end of the show.
Tony.
Sorry about that. Baddie, in Iceland, would you believe, Tony? My son is all moved into our house in Saya. That's such good news. Blessed are the cheesemakers in Saya. Electricity is connected and water, and only waiting for the internet connection. Now, for our return, happy days. Baddie, it's good management of that situation. You got your son to do it all, and you should insist at the top of what's his name? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Internet connection must be on, or you're not coming back.
Yes.
You could make deal breaker there. Baddie, that's so brilliantly managed, delegated beautifully. Bondi and Gumbers from a dry Belfast, awful rain yesterday. 3/4 of an inch. Just over, it makes all the difference, just over 6 inches. Mike, stop it, Deagle, in October. Mild 11 degrees today. Bon dia from Francis. Bon dia, hope all are well, lurking and are working.
Yes.
This morning in Ireland, says Deagle, it's a religious feast. All Souls. All day tomorrow, All Saints Day. Thank you very much. And in Northern Ireland, no holiday, but Republic of Ireland is a holiday. So that's another reason to cross the border, isn't it? Mark, great to have you here, Mark. We'll get you on the show soon. Phil was suggesting we should do it. I said he's been on before, but we'll get him on. It'd be nice to hear from you on a regular basis and check in with your wonderful progress as you document in your blog, Mark. If you want to put the link to that in the comments, please do. It's a real contribution to Feliz dia de Todos os Santos. Thank you, Philomena. Thank you for being here. Very quiet in our neighborhood this morning in our bairro. The cafe opened 30 minutes later than usual. That is a holiday for a cafe owner, isn't it? That extra half hour in bed. Bless him. I've met that guy. What a lovely man he is. And it was a pleasure to meet him in your neighborhood there. Mr. and Mrs. Duck. Carl, enough blue in the sky to patch a hole in a sailor's coat. It's going to be a nice day. Get out. Enjoy Casa 92. Will do, mate.
Will do.
Sarah's here as well. You're a hoot, Sarah. We found on Friday.
Why Sarah? Why is nom de plume? Because remember, like if people have like a fake name on YouTube, they may well just want to be called nom de plume rather
Yes.
than their real name. I once got bawled out by somebody by calling them their real name.
You did, didn't you? So let's, for the purposes of this exercise, we'll call them Sarah. It may or may not be their real name.
Yeah.
But why?
Why is nom de plume in hospital?
What
Somewhere
happened?
near Kansas.
Yes.
Are you okay?
Yes, are you? Okay, let us know.
Yeah.
NDP there. We've got a lot to get through here, Tony. We will come back to you because we want to know about the real responsibilities that you talked about. But I think there's a few comments aimed at you as we get towards the end of
Nicely aimed at you.
Absolutely, in a good way. The bulging sack here, but Santiago de Compostela we were talking about before. Well,
Yeah.
excellent. And Andy is still recovering from that trip there. So good to have Louise with us. And we'll do
Solo
the
expats 50.
Oh, sorry. So giving away everybody's cover here this morning. Like that smash button. Yes, why not? Very Misty says solo 50 plus.
Yeah, sorry, because I got it round the wrong way.
About Portugal. Very misty, chilly morning. And we're in the same part of the world as you. She is in
Oh my goodness, we're just down the road from you at the minute.
a real November weather in Fundao this morning, place of the cherries. And yes, more 2-minute tasters. Cheers, Dougie. It's been quite controversial, your selection of shots, especially the beach shots and those peachy buttocks that you chose to put into my news video. Bit controversial, but keep it coming as far as I'm concerned. Shuva. That's yes. My apology about aubergines, eggplants in my messages. I think also you should steer clear of peaches as well as eggplants. I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it any more trouble than I've already caused here. Shuva, but yes, use your imagination.
Could be
used
suggestively. Like imagine a fig cut up. What does that look like?
Stop it. Be still, my beating heart. Shuva, a tempo de camisa. What's that shirt? Shirt time? Is it a tempo de camisa? What's he talking about there, Tony? A tempo de camisa.
It's time for a shirt. Portugal has so many things, that I don't even know. I mean, the little, how do you say it in English? Quotes, right?
Idioms, I suppose.
But I guess it could also be a camisa. A camisa could be many things. Not just a shirt, but it just means probably not to get wet. That's basically what it is.
Okay. Bit like the eggplant, be used in many ways. Bon dia, our time change is next week, so 2:00. Hope to see you on the 3rd. Yes, Suze. I think you want to know what the view is behind Tony there. She said, wow, what a view. Tony, what is that behind you?
I was going to try to, I don't really do a lot of StreamYard, so I didn't have a lot of pictures in the background, but the one that I had, because I could take it off and it's just, in my office. And it's a big white wall behind. So I figured, let me put something beautiful about Portugal. And you know what? The truth is that I wanted to put something about the Minho next time. Next time you'll have a view of the Minho River, etc. But this is in the Algarve. This is Praia. This is in Lagos, around the Lagos area, Praia de Dona Ana.
Right, which shows your reach. I mean, I did mention that your property focus tends to be in the north because that's what you know and love. But you cover through your network, you cover all of Portugal, of course, probably all of the world, in fact. Ian, you have enjoyed the action at the Algarve. You saw our friend Colin there as well, whose brother was racing in the Autodromo gathering. There, Coach Turner, thank you. Deagle, this is profound. This will be only our rivers run free, we pee on demand. Is that an Irish saying? It's not one I'm familiar with. Enjoying the day on the wall-mounted TV. It's like being in a TV studio here. We like it as well. This is our last day here at Casino 92. Hook is real. I go to bed at 2:30, just at your start time. I get hooked. Then I VC stay up till 4 a.m. when your show ends. This is amazing. Nom de plume NDP. I'm hooked, not a streamer, an avid wee hours watcher. So wee hours, that's another reference to those peers and live streamers. I guess you could say some get up for a wee in the wee hours. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes, we will work on that. Jean's in as well from New Jersey, Tony. Hola, bon dia. Feliz terça-feira. And we always give out, this is for trick-or-treating, I think, we always give out cream corn. One piping hot ladle for each child. You're all heart. Philomena, okay, yes, that was a brilliant cultural reference there. Thank you. Going back to the earthquake of 1755. I think there's an earthquake attraction in Lisbon where you'll be able to find out more about that. Dave and Debbie, Adele, great to have you here this morning. We're getting to the New Jersey references, I think. However, today in my history of being Portuguese, as of today, my car has become Portuguese. Even your car, it's changed your car. Inspected, registered, insured, and taxed. If you face the process, it is possible.
Wow,
Well
well
done.
done.
Yeah, well done. You should have a drink with Lee about that. Diogo, good morning to you. Good morning, Portugal. Just came back from Portugal 2 lovely weeks and went to the beach, but have my life here in England for now. It's life. Enjoy your day tour. Always great to hear from you, Diogo, in the UK. Give my love to everybody in Blighty. With these delays, Tony, look, when we finish talking, we can just say over. That's good, isn't it? And
no worries. I'm having fun. I'm having fun.
Over. Bon dia, Tony. A big fair today just got in. So into the comments directed at you. Did you say there's a big fair today up in the north?
Yeah, it started actually yesterday, and it's because today is all Dia de Todos Santos, and you know what's interesting about this fair? It's in Valença, okay, in an area or in a village called Serdal, okay. So Valença. So and today with the sunny day, talk about like just too many people. I'll be staying clear away from there, at least maybe till the the best time to go is last night, and that's when you see the people rolling in, and you have some sandwiches, and you have the local wine, and people are setting up shop, and so and they have it in Trás-os-Montes as well. Okay, where these two big fairs, outdoor markets. I'm sure they have in Portugal, but these two are the most famous that I know of here in the north. And what happens is if you buy something today, you could bring it back tomorrow to exchange it. So for whatever reason, El Dia das Trocas, like you buy it today and tomorrow is El Dia das Trocas. It's exchange day. So definitely, but it's all about the excitement and the wine and the food, the locals. We have San Martinho coming up, right, on November 11th, the day of St. Martin. So definitely people are getting ready for that. And so that's what it's all about. And it's a big area it's a big they have that every 15 days, every 2 weeks. There is an area that is designated for that. Okay, every 15 day, it's the second Sunday of every month. Okay, it's a normal traditional outdoor fair, but this one is like a fair like no other. It's like people wait a whole year to go, and and even myself, I see some friends there every once in a while. So, but it's all about the people all around, the energy.
Yeah, I'm trying. I mean, thank you so much for that, Tony. And I'm sure Bob and Viv, who were with us yesterday morning, will head over that way. This is useful. This is two birds with one stone. This is our Gumper map that Louise was asking about earlier on, and this is the region we're talking about here. I think where I'm about right, aren't I? That that latitude
it's
here.
a little further up. Towards Spain, Vila Nova de Cerveira. You see the river. I could see it there. Vila Nova de Cerveira, Minho, and where you have Vila Nova de Cerveira. Yeah. Zoom in.
Yeah.
You have the river, Vigo, Valença. I think I saw that there, right? Mursa. No, you're
right.
You got to go further north. It's northeast. You imagine the Atlantic,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Northeast. Right. I think that's the northeastern corner of Portugal there.
That's where the Minho River. Yeah, that's where the Minho River divides Portugal and Spain, right? It's the furthest most tip of Portugal in the north.
Okay, superb. There we go. I think that's it there. And there you go, Louise. And what you can do with this map, and hopefully people will do that. If I just go down a little bit onto the map, you can see where Andy has been very busy putting up meetups, Gumper points of interest, and events that are happening. That explains what the Gumper map is, and it's interactive thanks to Sarah Yerman in our community who created this. So yes, do put these things up, because we were trying to research garden festivals yesterday, and it's very difficult. Tony, what's this about? Why is it that the happenings, the events in Portugal are so hard to research on the internet? Portuguese people they know it's on. They don't bother sharing the information, do they, with the wider public, right? Have you noticed this?
Yeah, it's about word of mouth, and it's locals, right? And people that discover it, like they come back. It really is. There's no social media for the markets and fairs. Well, I guess in your local, here's the thing. If you look on Facebook, there's a lot of communities, right? Like whether you have Valença or Vila Nova de Cerveira, or whether you have in São Martinho do Porto. They have that local stuff there all the time. I'm sure they post it. And so your local little communities, each single one will for sure highlight those events.
That's true. That's true. And if people do want to extend that, when you find something on your local social media, do please add it to our Gumper map. That will be a real service to other people who are struggling to discover these things. Although that said, I mean, it is nice to wander about sometimes, isn't it? And chance upon a massive fair like the one you've talked about, and no idea it was going. All the locals know it's going on. They don't need to advertise it. Then you find it one fine day of wandering about. But maybe, yeah, you might want to do us the honor of sticking it on the Gumper map for us there. So yes, thank you for that question, Bob, who's up in your neck of the woods there, Tony. And Pete as well is in. Good morning, Pete. I hope you had a great weekend, Philomena. Pete's got some interesting observations as usual, like this. Portuguese in this region, the one you're in now, Carl, of course, in Castelo Branco, takes on quite a Spanish twang. I've noticed that. I was writing about it, and yeah, there's a noticeable Spanish influence in Castelo Branco, and I think Spanish people love coming here. And you love being, is this what you're known as locally, Albi Castellans? There, that's interesting to know. Thank you. Andy visited a mercado in Tui in Spain, and Antonio mentioned on our trip this weekend. So they've been there in the last few days. All the Portuguese on our coach piled out and filled up on caramels, toffees. Who knew? So that's a thing then. Spanish toffees, by the sound of it. The cultures enjoying each other's particular specialities there. That's brilliant. And Susie's glad to be here learning about the North. Thanks to you, Tony, a Northern girl at heart. It's Suze, one of the many people falling in love with the North. And are you noticing this phenomenon? You know, we of course, we've talked to Vitor Costa on the show here. And we're seeing Bob and Viv, who were with us yesterday morning, fell in love with the North. There's something going on, isn't there?
I think so. You know, it's one of Portugal's. I can never get tired of hearing it, and people just don't know what they don't know. They think of Lisbon, Porto, the Algarve. Now discovering the Silver Coast there, São Martinho do Porto. The Minho region is by far, for me, one of Portugal's best kept secrets for a variety of reasons. You know, you don't have. Yeah. It's still one. It's still very affordable. Okay, in comparison to other markets, everything. You know, not only about real estate, but just the quality of life and cost of living. The villages are not so crowded. They're big enough, but not overly big enough. I mean, you could take. I always say you could take the boy out of the country, but you can never you can never take the country out of the boy. You know, I'm just not a city folk. I've gotten used to it. And I've lived in cities in New York City where you have 11 million people, more than Portugal. But there's just something about there's always a place to park your car. There's always a place.
Yes.
I sometimes, you know, I mean, I don't know. I can't think of probably, you know, I get flustered. I go to Viana do Castelo, which is probably the biggest city up north here. I go to Vigo, which is a pretty big city too, as well. And they're small cities by my standard of where I'm used to. And just all the traffic and people. And even when you go to the area, to the market there, that's why I say you'll see so many cars and stuff. And I'd rather just see green, you know, and the farmlands and the countryside. It's a smaller pace of world. You know, the biggest crime here you can commit, Carl, is probably stealing your neighbor's chicken. It really is. You know, that's the biggest crime. And so
what happens if you do that? I mean, that's big news, right? Locally.
Then your neck is cut off. No. You know,
on a Sunday morning, right?
On a Sunday morning,
village square.
Yeah, but I think that's that softer pace of life that really, there's a sense of community here, and I'm sure in all of Portugal for that matter, but especially when you're here, even in the interior parts of São Martinho do Porto, Coimbra, even in the Algarve, Alentejo, goes without saying, every single house will have its own little plantation of potatoes, your tomatoes, your garlic, your cabbage, etc. You know, you have all the wine, right? They make this, the Minho region has its own exclusive wine, right? Vinho Verde, right? The softer
yes.
wine.
Oh yeah.
the Alvarinho wine, just so you know, guys, sometimes people wonder if I'm in real estate or if I'm in travel or wine or food, because I really don't talk a lot about real estate. We haven't talked. And so, but like here in the Minho, we have the wine grape variety. It's called the Alvarinho, which is one of the most noblest wine grapes of Portugal, of the world for that matter, and it's just we have it all. We really have it all, and more people. I would say like we've been getting a lot from Northern Californians, because the Southern California, they're not going to give up the heat. They want the heat, right? They want warm all year round. But even but even a lot of our British clients, and even when you mention Iceland, okay, Iceland, we've helped clients from Iceland, from here in this small little village.
Really?
Now they're living in Porto. We have clients from all over the world, and what's basic here is, and that they're looking for, is that you have a sense of community. Okay, for one, they get involved. Their neighbors, they're helping their neighbors. Some they're helping them plant the potatoes. They're helping. Then they're bringing the potato. They're exchanging, and even the families. People sometimes they live, the younger generation. They live with their grandparents, their parents, or they're bringing up families. So there's that sense of community, and you have that in the small. You only find that in the smaller little villages. I'm not saying the city doesn't happen. It's beautiful, but there's a different element when you have space, and people respect that, and you're not crowded on top of one another. So that definitely helps. And I think people don't know what they don't know, but they're discovering it, and still is the best kept secret.
It would have been. Yeah, and we talk to Americans who's we're like, why when you have these beautiful, for example, Colorado landscapes, why would you give that up and come to Portugal where the scale is smaller? And it's like, well, it's lovely, but there's something extra. There's something here in Portugal that we really have fallen in love with. So we have this resonance of the big country, plus I suppose the love and the heart of the small country, if you like, as well, as a lovely hybrid that people seem to be being attracted to. So definitely a northern phenomenon going on, and Antonio will be here every month, and we've still got a quarter of an hour to ask questions of the man in the Minho this morning. I think we're going to get in trouble if we do cover the Michael Jackson tune.
Yeah,
should we not go there?
No, I don't think you should.
Right. But we will find you a theme tune. We do need a theme tune for you. We'll wait for Tony time. Kate's here. Morning, Kate. Bon dia, Luisa y Carl. How you doing, Kate, this morning? St. Catherine. And back to the comments then for you specifically, Tony. And the thing you said, I think that's going to be another one of those, be Portuguese about it. One of the phrases that stays with us now. People loved what you said. What a great saying. You can't change Portugal, but Portugal will change you. Bob echoing that. I love that. Says Bob, you aren't going to change Portugal, but Portugal may change you. Remember where you heard it first? Antonio Barbosa here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Bob also loved Valencia, which I thought people were saying wrong. I thought they were talking about Valencia, but it's Valença, of course, that's connected to the north of Portugal there. And yay, New
Valença
Jersey.
do
Look at
Minho.
this.
It's
Valença do Minho, of course.
Because you have Valença do Alentejo as well. So Valença do Minho.
Of course you do.
Okay.
Be careful. They're a long way apart. Don't put the wrong one in the sat nav. Yay, New Jersey. Look at this with a few fruity emojis for you. And a question about New Jersey. Do you know the answer to this, Tony? Do you know why they call it the Garden State?
Of course, because it's a garden. When you're traveling on the roads, it's a lot of flowers. It's like a garden, and it's small. The roadways are actually not bad to drive, and because it is, you see, it's actually there's a sunshine state, right? It's Florida because of the sun. You have the big so many different states all have different the Lone Star State for Texas, so every single one. But the Garden State is really true as a small garden. And if here's a little fact for you: Portugal is about the size of New Jersey. Okay, and I know Jersey well. I mean, I grew up there. I'm an alumni of Seton Hall University in South Orange. I lived in Newark, grew up with the Portuguese neighborhood, right, with all the Portuguese people. And definitely then, having when I worked in New York City, getting easy by train, the Penn Station or in Newark and New York. But I spent many summers as a kid as well, sometimes in the Jersey Shore. Love it. There's the one bar comes to mind, the Tiki Bar in Point Pleasant. So shout out to all my peeps in Jersey, Jersey boy, a Jersey in the house.
Somebody
You
will
know,
know it.
with the
Somebody will know
with,
it.
with the
Sure.
Guidos and the Guidettes. You know, that was my time, Carl and Louise, for sure. You know, do you know what a Guido and a
Well, you know
Guidette
what?
is?
No, go on. What's a boydette?
It's just a term for an Italian girl or Italian guy. You're a Guido, you know. Hey, I'm a Guido. It's Antonio
That
here.
guy.
Antonio in the
I see,
house.
yeah.
Guido and a Guidette.
Okay.
You know, the Guidette is the female version with the hair all
Guidos and
long. Remember
Guidas.
the '80s with the long hair and stuff. I have fell in
Look
love
at me
many
now.
times with
Yes.
many Guidettes. Many Guidettes.
I can imagine. Happy times. We want to see those photographs next time you're on. Okay. Well, actually, with respect, it's the Garden State because polyaromatic hydrocarbon and refinery state wouldn't fit on the license plate. There you go. Learning a lot this morning. Thank you very much for that, Gene. James, resonating with you there, Tony. I done with the US. Totally feeling that. And Bob, I have friends who had major vegetable farming businesses in New Jersey, the Garden State. They made deliveries to New York City markets every week. Is the vegetable business now gone? So have things changed there, Tony?
No, it still is. I mean, it's industrial. There's a lot of industrial areas there, but agriculture there is. Agriculture is more in, especially towards the areas of like when you're going to Pennsylvania as well. There are, but for sure, you know, Jersey grown tomatoes. You know, that's a brand to bring to New York, right? So that's
Tomatoes. Okay, good morning, everybody from Joao F. Morning, Joao. How are you, Joao? And I think saying the word coffee is like a sneeze for Tony. He's such a legend. So a new legend. Well, you were a legend before you came here, but you are now a legend within this community. This morning, it's official. It has been declared. What's this? This is a strange. Piglets. What? Hiya, Pete. The piglets look darling, although very active. That's kind of random, but glad you were able to share that this morning, Victoria. And thank you for your lovely pictures, which we'll credit or blog about of those Braga-made Brazilian pots, terracotta pots last night. These days, houses are more profitable than corn and tomatoes, especially the closer you get to New York City. Of course, that would happen, wouldn't it? That phenomenon there. So some nice talk about New Jersey this morning, as well as Portugal and the north of Portugal specifically, with our man in the Minho here. There's the Gumper Map link if you want to get on there and do something with that. Hi, Tony from Joao F. I love that picture of Praia da Donna, and he recognized that straight away. Look at that. As a child, I spent lots of summer holidays there with my parents, and later had some of my best holidays times with my friends in Lagos there. So happy memories. Thanks for that, Tony.
That area of Lagos, okay, for people that don't know, okay, in Portugal has different sceneries from north to south and in between, even the Azores, okay, the Madeira Islands, okay. I was just on a phone yesterday with a buyer looking to move to the Azores. Azores, like a mix between two different countries. Imagine the Hawaiian Islands and Ireland mixed together, okay. It's that beautiful. No wonder it wins every single year the World Travel Awards for best tourism destination, right? So, but Portugal has its own scenery. The Alentejo is characterized by the small rolling hills with the olive groves, right? The Minho, where it has the mountainous and even the central part of Portugal. The Douro has its own. Every single region has its own identity. You know, Lisbon, the Sintra, the Algarve. It's characterized by millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of years of what nature has done. And there's a beach there, like for example, this is just one of them. There's one of my favorite beaches. It's actually, if you go, guys, go there on St. Valentine's Day. Praia da Marinha. It's Lover's Beach. Taken at a certain angle, there's a beach, right? Or the cliffs form a heart. It's one of the most, for me, it's one of the most beautiful. Okay, São Martinho do Porto has its own, like the biggest. If you look at it, we have our own seashell, right? There's no other places like that. So Portugal has so many identity regions, little nicks and crannies, small little beaches. Praia da Ursa, that comes to mind. Like everywhere. Like even in the river beaches, right? There's so many river beaches too. In the central part, even the Tejo, and this is just one of them. But Lagos, I was going to say, that area there, a Ponta da Piedade, which is the most western tip of Portugal, and extending around o Cabo São Vicente and Sagres, leading up to the southwest Vincentine coast, right? Of course, the Vincentine coast, and the Alentejo Southwest Natural Park. That is probably one of the most beautiful, unspoiled areas of Portugal as well. You have like Praia do Odisseia, you have small little villages there, etc., where it's not like the Algarve, where it's a lot of buildings and everything overdeveloped. No, where it's still traditional Portuguese with that beautiful scenery that you see behind me, just continuing all the way up to Lisbon, up to the Comporta area. So it's without a doubt one of the most beautiful regions of Portugal as well. And I love to visit there. Ponta de Piedade,
Tony,
Lagos.
we love hearing you waxing about Portugal. It's so nice. I think you should. There should be. Well, you do make the occasional video, don't you? And your social media postings are fantastic. Which brings us on to the question. Well, Louise says yes. That sounds like my kind of place. I think that was with particular reference to the north. But she also asked a question so people can see you speaking so beautifully about Portugal on social media and elsewhere. How do people get hold of you, Tony, and how do they connect with Infinite Possibilities, please?
Well, that was a solo 50 plus. Okay, so how do you, or anyone gets a hold of me? But you know what? You can invite me to dinner or lunch.
Yes.
Just for anybody, this, my slogan, Carl. You can invite me to dinner or lunch. Just don't invite me to work. Okay. You can anytime. Just don't invite me to work. And I love. What I do is not who I am. I'm a lover of people, relationships, building that, and I think what's important, love, sharing it's not mine, it's our beautiful Portugal. Somewhere I've been privileged to call home and sharing it. And, the easiest way is through, Antonio10k.com. It's my digital business card. It has all my social media handles. It has my WhatsApp, it has my email, it has my website, landing pages, information about Portugal, Antonio10k.com. Okay. And that is the best way. And you have all my, and again, invite me to lunch or dinner. Don't invite me to work.
Yeah. Well, definitely. And yes, I've got that. I am copying and pasting that into the chat so people can get hold of you. Now, talking of inviting you to dinner, that is what I did.
There you go.
And I was during this lunch here, Tony. There was definitely something missing, wasn't there? And I think that mystery. Well, I still to this, till this very morning, I was thinking, what was missing from that lunch? And of course, it was Frank, wasn't it, missing from that line? I think we did send him pictures. That's right. Here he is. He is with us this morning. The bromance is on. It is on, man.
The bromance. We did send him a picture that day.
We did, didn't we? It's tones to time. He's delighted to see you on the screen. So that's what to do. And I will put that connection into, how to get in touch with you into the chat now. That's going in. Yeah. So if you want to get in touch with Tony, get a piece of him. How do we get hold of Tony? The question has now been answered, so thank you for asking that, Louise.
Excellent.
And what a fantastic that lunch that was on the outskirts of San Martinho de Porto there, as you said, with its wonderful, its great big shell-shaped bay. Mrs. M, I feel you want
I've got a question.
I'm hogging Tony.
You are totally hogging him. And it was like right from the start, when you were talking about Saints' Days, it took me back to a time, I used to live in France, and when I was there, people would celebrate their birthdays, but they would also celebrate their Saints' Day, like if they were called, for instance,
name day, Louise.
Their name day. That's right. I wondered, do you do that in Portugal? Because if we do, our kids aren't gonna be able to celebrate their name days.
Saint Digby's Day.
Because all of none of them have got names in the Portuguese book. But you and I can celebrate our birthdays because we've both got Portuguese names,
and we'll give the kids Portuguese names as well. That's the thing.
They should have a middle name. Chinese children, when they come over to the UK to study, they give themselves a European name.
Let's do it. Let's make sure that happens so they can enjoy it. Absolutely.
In Portugal, it's not common. Although, like when it's like the Sant Antonio or São José, which is Father's Day, right? São José is a day. It's just the day of the São José. It's Father's Day. The country that most exemplifies name day that I've seen in Europe is Greece. They celebrate name day more than their birthday. Greece. And there's a single Yeah, Greece, I mean, I love going to Greece. I have lots of friends from from Astoria, New York. If anybody are listening, shout out to them, and even all around the world. But love Greece, love my Greek friends, love the Greek food, the uso. But they celebrate name day, Antonis, Antonis, and we know, and it's based on the saints. It is, Louise. It's based on the saints. So
Yeah.
San Jose, San Antonio, San Miguel, right? All the San Pedro, but it's based on the saints. Even but there's a name day like
I'm
Louise.
guessing-
I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I'm
what
guessing
day
you
it
don't
is,
have
but
a-
if you look it up, if you can find it.
Well, I'm actually Louisa.
Oh,
So
Louisa.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm Louisa. So yeah, I haven't changed my name to make it Portuguese.
No, we are Carlos and Luisa here. Yeah.
I just had an English name as I was growing up, really. Or
Yeah.
it's actually a very old English name as well. But I was just thinking, there probably isn't a Saint Solomon or Santa Mini. Maybe Mini. I don't know if there's a Mini.
Mary, though, isn't it? She would be Maria, I think.
There was something else I wanted to ask. Talking about celebrations, you forgot to celebrate like
what? Our anniversary? No, what?
No,
say it isn't so.
No.
I'll take you to Santa Maria Beach.
I can see the Crusties have been watching.
Yes. Okay.
And it was their wedding anniversary.
I did it earlier on this show. Okay. I did it this morning. So Phil and Lady K, congratulations to you on your anniversary yesterday, and similarly to Mr. and Mrs. Krusty this morning as well. So
29 years.
But that's fantastic, isn't it? And Halloween, you never forget, do you, if your wedding anniversary is on Halloween? Tony, the Minho region is the bomb. Says Krusty there. Yeah, another fan there.
I will say this to you. I will say this, Louise and Louisa and Carl. Yeah, I will say this. Okay, in addition to Portugal will obviously not change you. But or you're not going to change Portugal. Portugal will change you. Mm-hmm. Keep this in mind about Portugal and the Minho. Don't come because you will fall in love. Well, don't come because you will fall in love.
Know.
In the north,
we've been told this so many times now.
In the north, there is a saying like Viana do Castelo, amar o Minho. Those who come love it. Those who stay fall in love. That's what it is. Yeah. So that's the Minho in Viana do Castelo. Amaro Minho, love the Minho. Don't come if you don't want to fall in love, and because you can come, you're gonna like it, but if you stay, you will fall in love. That's all I could say.
That is fantastic.
Do you know what?
Give that a round of applause.
Yeah, I mean that's beautiful. And
are you waiting for the applause to die down?
Yeah. I also was wondering if I should say my next comment or not.
Oh dear. This really worries me. I mean, she worries me anyway as a co-host. But then when she pauses to think, should I say this or not? You know that something very.
No. I think it's such a. Don't like the first thing I want to say.
Yeah, come on.
No, I want to the first thing I want to do is absolutely appreciate Antonio, what you've done today, because not only have you helped all of us feel more in love with Portugal, but you've also extended it all the way around the world. Like your whole story, everything you've been sharing has just actually tied in so many different regions and countries around the world, and it's helped us all, really feel that love vibe. But the thing I was thinking about when you said, what was it? You'll love it if you come, but if you stay, you'll
fall in love with it.
Can you say that sentence again?
If you come,
you'll love
it. Like it. If you stay, you will love it. You will fall in love with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quem vem,
I was thinking
in Portuguese, it's quem vem gosta.
Yeah.
Quem fica ama. So who comes likes it. Who stays, loves it.
Loves
Amar
it.
o Minho, love the Minho.
Yeah,
I love it.
Excellent.
That could be for all of Portugal. That could be for all of Portugal.
Yeah. And João F is saying, in my humble opinion, I would say that each region of Portugal is almost like a different country all by itself. One can change sceneries and culture just by traveling a few kilometers. Yeah, and I would assert, and in my humble opinion, say that, you know, the heart of Portugal runs throughout it all, like, you know, through a stick of rock. The heart is in the middle there, and it does change slightly, and it can change quite considerably, noticeably, as traveling a few kilometers. You're absolutely right. Neighboring villages can be very different, can't they? And Marinha Grande is like Blackpool. Talking of rock, I wonder. Thank you, Andy, for that, and thank you, Matty, for being here this morning. And Vitor Costa also here with a woohoo as well this morning.
Of course.
And Jacqueline Browncoat, thank you for being here, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
We are so well, we're here for you, Jacqueline. So sorry to hear of your recent loss. Lots of love to your family, and you are the great helper of other people. And maybe at this time, if you can allow us to support and help you, we would be delighted to do so. Certainly, speaking on behalf of this community, I know it's safe to do that with all the hearts of the Good Morning Portugal community for you, Jacqueline. So pop over to us, come and have a cup of coffee at our house, maybe when you're in San Martino de Porto. And lots of love to you and all of your family over there. Antonio, you've been quite amazing this morning. So the invitation is there. Invite him to lunch or dinner, but please do not invite him to work. The link is there. The link is there for doing that. And the great news is, thank you, Andrew, Lord Gilchrist, encouraging us to enjoy our bank holiday. He will be back. Antonio will be back in this residency. Will you? Well, I need to ask you: have you enjoyed today, Antonio? And will you come back and be with us once a month?
No. Of course, you know. You know what we say here, like, you know, no, or sing.
Yes.
You know, I
I'm
love
so glad to.
Carl and Louisa. It is a pleasure, and everyone here, and you know, it's for me, it is an absolute pleasure sharing where we gotta own where we live. Okay, we gotta own it. You can't change the world, but you can change your world. This is my world. Welcome to my world, people. This is my little neck of the woods where I love. I own it. I know the community. You know, I know Portugal, and I know lots of communities in Portugal throughout, from north to south, in between the islands. And you know, and it's this is just mine, where I love it, and sharing it with you guys here. And you know, Carl, we say, and it really is. It's about real people, real life, and real estate. But we'll leave the real estate.
There we go. We didn't even talk about the real estate, did we?
Real estate is what we do. Real estate is what we do.
Yeah.
We got to be professionals that we do it. But people, you know, real estate people, when they look to us, they're not going to live under a bridge. So, but they want to know about information about the country, about you. Why do I want to work with you? You know what? You know, having that avatar, having that person, or me. Why do I want to work with you? Maybe I don't want to work with you. It's simple as that. You need to go. You don't value me, you know, you need to go. I don't waste time. And that's the privilege of coming to this point in life, right? And being happy where you are, what you have, what you do. And that doesn't, you know, for example, I mean, I get all excited if I have a prato do dia, you know, the daily special with the friend, and you know, I get really excited about that. Or walking along the river, or here or there. And what's beautiful about it is that every day my office is outdoors. You know, when I get in the car, my office is outdoors. So I have the beautiful part of just discovering all of Portugal. Portugal is my office, you know, for sure, without a doubt. And I love sharing it with you guys. So we have a lot. So I'm getting comfy in my spot. So, you know, every first Tuesday. So it'll be December 1st, January 1st, which is a, you know, and so on. So looking forward to it, Carl. Loved it. And thank you guys.
Excellent.
Thank you for the time.
It's a pleasure. Just stay with us for a few more minutes if you can. I think that's a view. Who sent us that one? I'm struggling to see it on the screen, but it's just another lovely view of Portugal there, not to diminish it in any way, but adding to the wonderful vibes. It's absolutely beautiful. Is that one of yours, Andy, there? I think it probably is. And also a few more pickies then from this morning, including Marcus's many faces of learning Portuguese. We had the chuva face yesterday, facial gesture, and this was the bread that was delivered to their household from the neighbours yesterday morning. Look at that. You get fresh bread delivered, made by your neighbours, delivered to you by your neighbours from down the street. And so this was the chuva face yesterday. This was probably before he had the bread. So there you go. And as Pete said the other day, he's taking a break before getting busy at Christmas time helping Santa. That's the Schufer face. And here is the Este Complicado face. It's not that different.
No, it's not.
But there is a subtle difference with the speaking European Portuguese through facial gestures, and it's like tuning your ear. You have to tune your eye as well to see the subtle difference with the two there. Go on.
Speaking of tuning our eye, have you actually looked out the window?
Is there a rainbow?
No, but I mean,
it was raining just now.
There's soft rain and a blue sky.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
It is.
There's going to be a rainbow just around the corner for sure.
Absolutely. There you go. And we've got other pictures coming. Just a couple more before we do the dad jokes finally. Oh, this is Andy waiting for his physio. This is another little lovely vignette of Portuguese life. He's waiting for his physio appointment, and then loads of children come in to get their sweeties. In a medical environment like this, all serious, people sat around not feeling too good, presumably, and then all the little kids come in and they get given their sweets on Halloween. Isn't that beautiful? And Prosecco Peggy, another legend on our screen yesterday, sending in some flowers from her garden. Dahlias and roses from her garden. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Prosecco Peggy. And I think, is this possibly an external shot here? The bulging sack of correspondence is groaning as we speak. It's just too much to handle here. And there are some lovely lilies possibly from her garden as well. What a lovely way to conclude the show this morning. But not quite finished because we have dad jokes for Tony. Do you like a dad joke, Tony? Do you think you'll stay poker faced, or do you think you'll be guffawing openly with this?
I love dark humor. Really, the most silliest of ones is the ones that really get me. The ones that are
okay. This is going to get them.
Okay, so I left my car between a numerator and a denominator. Sure enough, I got a ticket for a parking infraction. Ooh, that hurt kind of, didn't it? All right. How do you charge
but I get it.
An electric? Oh yes. We were all slightly. Hold on a minute. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got it. How do you charge an electric Honda, Tony?
An electric condom.
No, not an electric condom.
Oh,
where can I get one of those? Chinese shop.
Oh, an electric car. Oh, okay, car. And I was like, okay. How do you charge an electric?
Oh, just car? Okay. Let me do that again. And not an electric condom. And please, for the purposes of everyone at home, no, I should say, don't try this at home, should I? Electric condom. Do what you want in the privacy of your own home. But actually, the question was, how do you charge an electric Honda, as in the Japanese maker car?
Oh, right. Okay.
With a cord.
With a cord.
Sorry, I went
right. With the cord.
Honda Accord. That also hurt a little bit, didn't it?
That hurt a bit.
Okay, knowledge is power, and power corrupts. So study hard and be evil. No.
Yeah,
it is the reaction.
It's not so much a dad joke. That's like
a prophecy of the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
Oh dear. What a terrible note to end on this morning. Okay, let's see if we've got a final comment to refresh our palate with. And suffice to say, Tony, so looking forward to your next visit. And I think other people are looking forward to this sort of scenario, inviting you to lunch and dinner around the country. This is what you can enjoy. Look at that feast. That was just for the pair of us. That was a fantastic lunch. That is how Tony does business. Can you believe that? And quite right too. And I think probably a final thank you or two from our community here. Sunny in Lisbon this morning. Wonderful seeing you all today, says Viv, who's up there in the north with you, of course, as well. And João,
we've got a couple from.
Okay, who are those
Ubi.
from? Ubi, always with a pithy comment. They say, says Ubi, Earth is breathing with each wave that finds the shore. Her heart rises in the evening for to open twilight's door.
That's lovely.
Hold on, he's not finished yet. Her eyes are in the stars in heaven, watching o'er us all the while, and her heart is in Portugal, deep within the Minho's style. Hey, that's a good note to end on, isn't it, Tony? That's beautiful. Another round of applause for you, my friend. Have a great All Saints Day, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for being here. What a great debut. Ciao, ciao, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow with the great Michael Heron. Cheers, Tony. Bye for now. Enjoy your day.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need. guess we'll do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.